Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do something that I've been putting off for entirely too long now and get this old Pioneer SX-3700 up and running again. Well, I shouldn't say again because it currently works, but it's not currently working well enough to suit my needs as a test bench receiver, so hopefully we're going to do that today. I don't know if I'll be very successful with this because I'm still not very good at receivers, but we'll give it a shot. Anyhow, I should mention that this is probably not going to be a full Trevor's Bench style restoration project. Reason being, I just don't have all the equipment that guy has. I've got the LCR tweezers, and they're fairly accurate, but they're nowhere near as accurate as what he's using for an LCR bridge. So that's one hurdle I've got, and I don't have any active loads, or passive loads even, to test this out with to see if it's making rated power or whatever. So I'm just going to have to do the best I can with what I've got here. Fortunately, this receiver doesn't have a lot wrong with it. The only issues really seem to be dirty controls and maybe old capacitors. So that's pretty well all I'll be doing with this one. Most likely, because that's about all I can do with it. So we'll see how this goes. Now, the last time I showed this on camera, it had some issues with the dial lamps in there. So we'll get started on that aspect of it first. As you can see, I've got the lid already ready to come off. And you'll remember that the last time this socket broke, so I'm going to have to devise a way to clip this back in place. Most likely what I will do with this is bring you around here. Most likely what I will do is, you see this round doohickey here? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend a paper clip, I'm going to drill holes in either side, and then I'll use the paper clip to clip this back in place. And it's probably going to end up that I snap the other two up here as well when I'm getting to that. But hopefully I can find enough paper clips to do that job. But as far as the lamps themselves go, I've got a problem here, and we need to talk about it. These are the lamps I bought for replacements. I know I said I wanted to do incandescent, but the only source I could find for the incandescents was in the United States of America, where everything costs 50, 60, 70 bucks to ship to Canada. So I decided to go with these instead. They came from China, so much cheaper. But fair disclosure, I've already tried one of these in the receiver, and I'm not happy with them whatsoever. I'll show you why. Actually, I better plug this thing in first so I can show you better. Okay, I'll get one of these lamps out now. The problem with these lamps, well, the biggest problem is they'll go in, but they will not fit. See, they bottom out against the metal area here, and they just don't fit. Otherwise, the light dispersal pattern here is what you would want for this. You need to have light going every which way except forward, and these lamps would otherwise be ideal for that. But with the base on them, they don't work. When you take the base off of them, you get this. And I was considering trying to make this work as well. See if I can get you a look. But they're still not ideal. I don't really like these. That's aside from the fact that I really don't like the color temperature on these. Let me show you here. Plug this one in, and I will turn the receiver on. And this just looks like it's really green tinted to me. I don't like that. But otherwise, they do light things up fine. I'll see if I can show you here. You can kind of see it's got plenty of light in there, but I just don't like them. So we're not going to use those. Now I've got some other LED retrofit lamps that can be used in here that I've tried out. I have a couple of these. I bought these to illuminate the LCD displays in my digital cluster of my 1992 Chrysler Imperial. And these will work better in here, but they still don't fit. And that's the dead one. Forget I used that one. I knew I had one dead one because one died while it was still in the Imperial, but that's the one that works. Good light quality from this one, and see if I can set it in place here. I'll use the dial cord to kind of hold it. Well, that'll work. And the quality of the light is better, but it's cool white, not warm white. And I think I'm going to have to compromise this way and just use the cool white stuff in order to get this to work. So what I've done is I've placed an order from a Canadian supplier to get more lamps that should work here. Like even this one is still too tall to fit in there properly. It bottoms out. And I have measured these, and they're about 25 millimeters, I think. Yeah, 24.9. And the new ones I have coming now are 20 millimeters deep. So they should work much better than what I've got here. But something else I was considering briefly is going with these instead. These easily fit, but they're green. And they're also not very bright. I just don't know about using green in a blue fluorescent receiver like this. And like I said, yes, they are very dim, so I'm not a fan of those. So we're going to wait for the new ones to show up, and hopefully they show up in time for this video, but they are not here yet. Okay, I'm just getting ready to open up the bottom of this, and it occurs to me that I didn't tell you about something important. I had originally planned to convert the illumination in these button switches to LED. However, AliExpress came to my rescue on that. I have brand new 8-volt incandescent lamps for those locations, so we're going to use these instead. Just a little bit less work for me. I could still do the LEDs, but I would rather have this receiver be as authentic as possible, so only the dial lamps will be LED in this thing. And thankfully there are 10 of these, because the Pioneer CT970 needs one of these for the cassette well lamp, so there's that as well. And while I'm coming over here to zip out screws, I need to tell you, oh, that screw was loose. This has been into before. I am strongly considering going for my 10,000 subscriber tape deck right now. I'm not sure if it's the best idea or not to buy a high-end neck in the current economic climate, especially with this trade war crap going on with the United States of zaniness, but I'm kind of thinking, since my investments aren't performing as well as I would like to, maybe it wouldn't be such a bad idea for me to go ahead and look into doing that now while I've still got the ability to do so. Okay, some heat discoloration here that I need to be cognizant of, especially over here. I need to check the soldering joints there for sure. I already see one bad one. And basically my plan for this is I'm going to do the recap of the power supply right now. Maybe get some of the power amplifier and tone amplifier done as well. But as for capacitors, I'm not sure if I'll be recapping the entire thing. So I'm just taking a look here. Yeah, this area needs reflowing bad. That's no problem, we can do that. And let's see. there might be an issue with the new main filter caps as well. This is where they are right here, and you can see that the spacing of the lands is kind of far apart. Let me see if I can do this without shortening them. It's about 15.9 millimeters spacing on that. But what I might do is I might use this this mounting position here for one of the capacitor leads on the new ones. I'll show you the new ones here. If I can get into the packaging. The current capacitors are 8200 microfarads at 63 volts, and what I'm going in with is 10,000 at 63 volts. So these are the same size as what's in there now, but the lead spacing is different. So I'm going to have to figure this out immediately, pretty much, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit these in very well. But I have to, because I want to change them. Very likely the old capacitors are still good. They might be drifting in value, though. So since I want this thing to work for a long time, I think I would rather just go ahead and change them now while I can. So, oh boy, does this thing ever have some heat discoloration going down under here. And the other thing I would like to do is repaste the thermal grease in the power amp chips, or the power amp transistors here. And those could use reflowing as well, I'm seeing. Anyhow, that's going to be day one, I think, is doing as many capacitors as possible, and maybe see if I can get the relay, which is over here. I'll show you the new relay as well, if I can get it out. I don't know if I can change the relay without taking the front panel off and such first, but we'll see. This is the new relay. It does appear that it will work. It is, let's see here. Trying to, oh, there's the part number on it. Can you see that? MY402, 24 volts DC. So it should work for a new speaker protection relay. If it doesn't, I'll have to clean the old one. I hate cleaning relays, but we'll see how that works out. Anyhow, time for me to get started on this big boy, so I'll see you guys later. Okay, so I got the power supply recap done, and before we move to the top and do a power up test to see if the new caps actually work, I needed to, or I thought you might want to see what I did here with the main filter caps. This here is actually 12 gauge Romex, so very sturdy stuff. This one's got no insulation on it because it was just basically empty space between the two traces, but this one over here, I needed to leave the insulation on in order to get over to the right trace. So hopefully that's all right. We'll find out for sure the hard way if it isn't, but I think it'll be okay. So let me flip this over now and we'll continue talking about the power supply. Okay, you can see the new power supply capacitors right there. The two main filters aren't in the exact spots that they were before, but that's okay. They'll work there, I think. As long as I got the polarity right, they'll work. But I wanted to mention that this one right here is not the same as what was in there before. Apparently, I did not have that capacitor. It was 220 microfarads at 50 volts. This one is 330 because I didn't have 220. So I hope it'll work. The schematics give me no reason to suspect it might not, but it's in there nonetheless. And then these two down here, these brown ones, they're supposed to be 47 microfarads at 50 volts. These are 35 volts. I did not have the 50 volt parts. However, I have looked through the schematics, and Pioneer says that these run at 27 volts. So I'm hoping Pioneer's right about that, because if they're wrong, I'm blowing up parts in here. So How's about we find out now whether or not this thing actually works? Still, I need to power this up and make sure that this is going to work before I continue with this. Otherwise, if I got to buy parts for it again, it'll just take longer is all. So, power is off, or switched off. I have just plugged in the receiver. So let's come down here and see if it still works. Let me shut this light off that's beside me here first. Okay, cross your fingers and your toes and whatever you got to cross. Okay, relay clicked in, so everything works. I don't see any problems back there. Main filters are not heating up, so they're in properly. Okay, good. That means I can continue. So I'm going to shut this off again, and I'm going to get started on the amplifier section of this. I'm going audio grade where it's in the signal path, but actually there aren't too many electrolytics in the power amp, so that's good. I decided to get this model so it was a little bit of an easier fix for me than the more complicated Pioneers like the 3800 and 3900. So things are going well so far. I'm also going to come back here with the silicone and just sort of tack these down to the board so that they're not flopping around loose. Just occurred to me I should mention this. I couldn't test the two big main filter caps. The tweezers just cannot handle these. But these, no problem with the tweezers. I found that only one of these capacitors was still in spec. Just one. The rest of them were varying degrees of just out of spec or climbing their way significantly out of spec. So these are all old Elna parts. So every Elna in this receiver is getting changed. No exceptions. So I'm going to have to buckle down and hope I've got all the capacitors I need from here, because I've already come up short in a couple of places. Okay, so I just got the relay replaced, and it does work. I tested it. Clicks in no problems. And I noticed that it's got gold-plated contacts, the new one does, so hopefully that means it's good quality, but we're just gonna go ahead and check the resistance of the 4 sets of contacts here, just for funsies. So 24 volt relay, so we got to go up a little on this. There's 24, and okay, relay is on. Drawing 0.03 amperes. And I'll just go through and check these one by one, see what we get. $12 ohms, not good. 2.2 ohms, also not good. 3.6 ohms, not good. 1.1, well, 1 ohm, still not good. So this would have definitely had to have been cleaned if I'd kept it, but I may keep it yet, just for future possible use, but clearly everything in there needs to be cleaned up real good, but don't have to do that because I got a new one in there. And I will mention that the new relay has all 4 of these pins in place, while the original one doesn't. Doesn't really affect anything. The receiver did have all of the pin locations present. It's just it's not using 4 of them. And what they've got going on basically here is 2 sets of contacts for each channel to increase current capabilities. So that's always nice, but with all 4 of these sets of contacts not being very good for resistance, yeah, pretty much you would have had to clean all of the contacts in here in order to reuse this one. Okay, folks, I've been doing a few things off camera. I got most of the capacitors done in the phono amplifier and the power amplifier, and everything seems to be working well. I also pulled this heatsink out with all 4 power amp transistors and repasted all the transistors, which was a good thing to do because the old paste was not very good anymore. And I've actually been running this for a little bit before coming back on camera, and the receiver seems to be working very well now. Thanks to the new relay, there's plenty of volume, and I'm finding that the speaker switches are working properly, so I'm not exactly sure how much of the switches in here need to be cleaned, but I do know a lot of them do need to be cleaned, and that's probably what I'm going to be focusing on today, along with getting all these lamps done in here. And I should mention, all 3 of the catches on these lamp sockets are now broken, so I have to do the paperclip thing for all 3 of those now. So that's kind of what I did on Thursday, was I did all that stuff, and I went ahead and I went into town and I got some paper clips so I can bend up and use for clips for the lamp sockets. And yeah, that's basically all I'm going to do. Is I'm just going to bend these, drill a couple holes on each position, and then capture the sockets that way. I don't have to worry about insulation on these because the top 2 the top and bottom sections on each one are sort of joined together internally, and also these are already insulated. They've got a plastic coating on them, so I'm not going to worry about that either. Now for capacitors, these are the ones from the phono amplifier mostly. Some of them are from the power amplifier, but mostly from the phono amp. All of these test good, so what I'm going to be doing is these over here, these capacitors, I'm not going to be changing those. They're in the tuner. I don't use the tuner, so why bother changing those? But this is the phono amp here. You can see it's got all new caps in, all of which are either audio grade Nichicon KT, or UKT as it were, and then these are Panasonic FR for the voltage regulation that goes into these 2 chips here. So that is that. And I haven't gotten all of these signal chain caps done for the amplifier yet, because a lot of them are down under here where you can't get to them, but I'm about to get to them, so that's also something I'm going to be doing today, I hope. And in terms of these capacitors up top, I measured a few of them. This one is bad. It is about half the value it should be. And one of these is really high ESR, so I'll be changing probably every capacitor on these 2 boards up here. But when it comes to doing the boards underneath, I'm only doing the capacitors I need to do, I think. It seems like all of the really bad capacitors were only back here in the power supply. There doesn't seem to be too many bad ones elsewhere, but yeah, I'll get to these ones up here, and might as well. A lot of them are larger values. Like this one's supposed to be 220, it's 160. This one's a 470, and we'll do these 2 as well. But that's about all I can say about that. The next thing we need to do now is A, get the face off, and B, we need to free up this whole upper section here so that we can swivel it up and out of the way so I can get access to the parts under there. I think I can do that, but bears mentioning that we're going to be messing around with the dial cord now, because I don't think there's any way of getting to these parts underneath here without doing that. So my advice is to take a lot of pictures with the dial cord routing, just so you know where it goes back once you're done, and then just wind the dial all the way down to the end of the band here. So that's where I'm going to leave it. It's right there. You can see this corresponds to the screw being dead at the top here on this little piece. And I've noticed that this is loose. But I'm not going to mess with this if I don't have to. because I'm worried about breaking this brittle old plastic here if I try to mess with this set screw. So I'm going to leave it be, and I hope I can put this all back together once I'm done. And oh yeah, another thing. I decided to try and start cleaning one of these knobs. This is the dirtiest one, or was the dirtiest one. I had to use acetone to clean it, and it's not quite all clean yet, but it's better than it was. It would be nice if I found another factory knob for this position here. This is one of the receiver knobs from my Sanyo in the other room. But unfortunately, that's not the case. I did find a seller on eBay who's selling like 5 of these original Pioneer knobs. He wants $20 for each one of them, which is not going to happen. I'm sorry. Go rip somebody else off, buddy. That's all I can say about that. I didn't even bother making him an offer. Usually these eBay sellers, if they don't get anywhere near their asking price, they just ignore you anyway. Or they say, I know what I got, no lowballers. But whatever, that's eBay for you. Anyhow, we got to get all the knobs off and all the switches off. And I have straightened these switches already. You'll remember that a couple of them were kind of leaning off to the side. That was the first thing I did, was straighten them out, because they have to be straight in order for the face to come off this thing. Okay, what do we got here? We got a couple of knobs that are going to need denobbing, or denutting, I should say. Let's see, where's my little teeny tiny adjustable wrench? It's in my teeny tiny adjustable toolbox is where it is. Bought this thing in 1990 and it's been invaluable ever since, this little 4-inch crescent wrench, or adjustable wrench, or whatever you call it. That is not moving. Come on, don't fight me. You want to be fixed, right? Don't make me get the nut drivers. Because I don't want to get the nut drivers right now, because I don't know where they are at the moment. Okay, there's that one off. I'll just do the other one. I think this wrench cost me like $15 back in the day. Worth every penny, especially for electronics. Okay, those are off, and we got 3 screws to get rid of. Or 2 screws, I guess. And I need to do this anyway, because I need to get this plastic piece off that holds the lamps. Gotta get rid of this knob too, I think. Make sure it's still all the way at the bottom of the band. And now the face should come off. And yes, it does. I'll give you a look at what's behind here. Just a bunch of different color filters for the lamps. I'll be changing those today too, obviously, because that's what I'm working on getting access to right now. Okay, now to swivel this upwards and out of the way to get access to everything. Oh, that's loose. Okay, well, I kind of want to take all these potentiometers off the board anyway for cleaning, because I tried doing the volume knob and it needs cleaning again. I've already hit it like 3 times with the Electrosolve, and it's not cleaning up very well. So I'm going to have to get in there with the D100L probably and go even harder on it. So, but first, we got to flip this out of the way. And I've already freed up some of the wires from back under there, so I hope that keeps them out of trouble. Oh, and I should mention, when I get this ready for the new LED lamps, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut one of these wires and install a diode for half-bridge rectification, so that the new LEDs are dealing with DC and not AC. But I'm not at that point yet, so not doing that yet. Okay. I think we've got 4 screws on either side to get this assembly up and out of the way. And these are the same type of screws that are found in the bottom panel, so I'm going to put them with the bottom panel screws. Might as well, they're all the same anyway. Let's see, there's 2 on this side, I'm sure. Yes. But yeah, the receiver's going really well so far. I am encountering no major problems with this thing. So I think it'll just plug in and work once we're done with this. Okay, there are some tight wires here. These 2 over here are kind of tight. Just looking at where they go. Can I get some more slack on those, or do I have to disconnect them? No, I think I can work from here. And we've got a lot of heat discolored areas on these 2 boards as well. I'm going to have to look at carefully. And there's another bad solder joint, I think. Let's zoom in. Oh yeah, bad solder joints in there. I'll deal with those as well. But I might as well go off camera now and recap these 2 boards while I'm here. And then I'll get started. I don't know how easy it is for me to get these lamps out. Oh, okay, they just pull out, no problem. The new ones will go in easy then. So that'll be no problem. And then I'll have to take all these switches out and thoroughly clean them, pull them off the board and everything, maybe even polish them. These will be the same type of switches we serviced in the TC-K666ES, so very similar service procedure. Well, they're a little bit different, I'm seeing, but hopefully not different enough to be worrisome. But yes, I'm going to do capacitors now and maybe do the lamps while I'm at it. And we'll see where we get with this. See you guys later. This could probably take me a couple of days to do, so I best get started. Okay, folks. These types of latching ALP switches do not come apart. I just tried to take this one apart. It's not having it. So these I think we're going to have to clean just however we can. There's a couple of holes on the top there that I'm going to try to spray contact cleaner into, but I just could not get these types of switches apart, so I'm not even going to try. Irritating, but it is what it is. Had a little bit of an accident here. My snippers sort of deleted a little bit of the pin on this one, but this is the B speaker switch, so I'm not too concerned if it doesn't work, but I'm still going to try and fix it. Took all this crap apart for nothing. But I got all the capacitors done in there. All, at least that I could find. There might be more. But let me keep going with this. It's taken all day so far. I'm going to have to quit soon for the day. Fun stuff. Okay, folks, the longest control cleaning experience of my life is over. I hope I got them all clean now, but that remains to be seen. I decided not to pull these switches out, even though they probably need it, but we'll just see if my laziness comes back to bite me on that. I've got the dial cord back in, I think properly, but that remains to be seen as well. It may need some adjustment. But what I want to do right now is do a quick power-up test and make sure everything fires up properly and see if all these lights work. I metered them and they do test good for continuity now, but I did find one of those cheap Chinese lights that only had one wire attached to it, so there's that as well. But let's do a quick power-up test. I'm going to give the receiver some power, and we're just going to power it on now. Relay clicked in, so that's working. All these lamps are working. Good. I like this. Now I want to adjust this dial cord while we're here. See if I can hold you guys to see what I'm doing. It's kind of loose, so see if I can drag it over to the 90 megahertz area. I think it's there. Let's go up the band a bit. 100 is just a little off, but not too far. Ooh, we got smoke. Where do we got the smoke from? That wasn't good. We are gonna have to dig into that. Kind of wonder if that's a capacitor. Kind of smelled like it. I can't see it right now. I'm gonna have to get back into this and find it. Well, I found it. It's this capacitor right here. So, nothing to do with the amplifier, thank God, but I'm going to have to replace this one again. Not sure if I put it in backwards or not. I'll have to consult the schematics on this. So let me do that, and I'll replace that, and we'll try again. Okay, folks, the cablamitator was just in backwards. That's the only issue I found. So, should work now. We'll find out real quick if it doesn't. The new capacitor is in the opposite way of the old one, so yeah, you just got to pay attention to that kind of stuff, I guess, is all I can tell you there. No harm done, apparently. Just check my dial cord again, and it's good. So, I got a lot more work ahead of me. I gotta adapt the this thing now so I can clip those these things back in. Okay, folks, we have to discuss this capacitor real quick. This is the original capacitor that was in that location where my replacement blew up. And on reviewing my footage, I did not make a mistake. Thankfully, I was worried that I missed something or did something wrong myself, but no, this capacitor was always installed incorrectly at the factory. So I don't know exactly how it's lasted this long backwards, but it was indeed backwards. And to confirm my suspicions, I got into the receiver again. I hooked up my multimeter to the new capacitor, the one that's in there now, just to make sure I had the polarity correct. And I do have the polarity correct now. So I don't know how this happened, but I'll show you what this capacitor measures now. I'll get the tweezers out. So we'll measure it right now. This does test bad, but it's not as bad as you would think it should be, considering it was backwards all this time. It is now 18 microfarads. It should be 47. ESR is 1.6 ohms or something like that. So I am really confused about this. But it appears that my new capacitor is in properly. It hasn't blown up on me yet. So that's really weird. I don't know how that happened at the factory, but it did apparently happen. So anyway, it's Sunday and I have been spending a lot of time doing some cleanup. The face is as clean as I can get it now. I cleaned the inside of the this plastic part here. I polished every single knob and switch, including these. They cleaned up real nice. So it's ready to go, I think. At least I hope it's ready to go. I think I should go over these a bit more with some cleaning compound, because it looks like there's still some polish in them, but that's fine. Should be working fine now. Anyway, I haven't had any other capacitors blow up or anything, so I'll just power it on for you and show you. We'll give her a chance to nuke another capacitor while we're at it, but I'm not expecting any further problems. Relay clicked in. I hope I got my dial cord routing correct. Kind of sounds like I didn't. So I'll have to check that again, I guess. There's our local AM station, and yeah, I think I did mess up the dial cord. Wonderful! Anyway, it's pulling in signal now. Both channels are working. I don't have speakers hooked up right now because I do want to make sure that there aren't any issues with the amplifier. I want to check for DC voltage at the outputs, mainly. But I don't see any blown up capacitors or magic smoke or nothing. It's just sitting here working. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I can tell you right now. Let's check for DC at the outputs, shall we? I'll just turn it all the way down for now. And we'll go into auxiliary. The lamps behind the selectors aren't exactly that bright, but they don't have to be. And while I'm hooking up my meter here to some other probes that are conducive to checking the speaker outputs, I'll mention this is a single-ended push-pull design according to the service manual. So there don't appear to be very many options relating to checking DC offset or bias or anything like that. There's just no instructions anywhere in the manual for that, which I guess would make sense if I understand that particular topology correctly. So, meter is on now. Let's see, how can we do this? Let's take you around back, shall we? Set you up like so, and we'll just check. $165 millivolts. $114 millivolts. We're fine with the amplifier. I wasn't expecting any problems, so that is that. And I'll show you my new clipping arrangement for the lamp housings. I got 2 of them done. I've yet to do the third, but you can see what I've done here. I think that's going to work just fine. So, looking forward to getting the lamps in. They're not here yet because it's Sunday. But, yes, it appears everything is working. It had major problems with these 2 switches earlier, but they seem to be okay now. I just gotta check my dial cord here and see what the heck I screwed up with that. It's not sounding good, but yeah, I can do that off camera. Okay, folks, I think we're in the home stretch with this. I'm about to do a long-term test with this thing to make sure it holds up and whatnot, but before I get started on this, I just wanted to mention, when I was talking earlier about maybe getting my 10,000 subscriber special tape deck early, I decided to go ahead and actually do it. So something is going to be coming in. I won't say what it cost right now because I don't want to think about that number right now with the way the financial markets are going today, but something is coming, and probably going to do a reveal on camera when it gets here. Remains to be seen whether or not I can even stick to my usual plan of doing regular channel milestone videos like that, but I think you guys are going to like what I've got coming in, provided it actually gets to the From Japan warehouse. It's not there yet. It's not even marked as being shipped to the warehouse yet, but I know From Japan has my back on this. If the seller doesn't make good on his deal, then they'll get my money back for me, so not too worried about that. But it is time to stress test this for a little while. I had it running a bit again last night, and it had no problems there, but who knows? I'm going to have to fire this up and sit here and watch it for like 10 minutes and see if anything happens, and I'll probably run it for about an hour after that, and if it's still good at the end of that, then it's going to be good for forever now. And I do have the third clip finally done for this. I got better each time I did it, so you can see I had to do some bending over here and bending here, but this one's just about perfect. That's because I got used to doing it. So the lamps for this aren't here yet. There will be a final segment of this video with the lamps in place if they do arrive in time, but I'm thinking they might not. But they are coming from Montreal, so we'll see if they get here. There is a chance. That's all I can say. Now, in terms of testing this, I've got my old Power Supply Review power meter set up here because it's easy to see the numbers on this one. And we'll just be monitoring the power draw of the receiver as we go along. And for a signal source, I'm going to use the little Denon up here. There's no disc in it right now. Let me just put one in. I'm going to do my Vaporwave mixed disc here, because that'll give me signal for a long time. And it is red, that's good. So that's our signal source. And I've got the two little abstract acoustic speakers set up here because I don't want to run the test bench speakers just yet off this receiver. I don't think it would have a problem with them at all, but it's not only that, it's the fact that I don't have speaker wires long enough at the ready right now to hook those things up. So we're just going to go with the little ones today. So let's power this up. We'll watch the power meter. Rather, we'll turn the power on first. Okay, now we can watch the power meter. Ooh, copyright music. I've got it on AM right now. I did fix my dial cord issue back there. It was just out of the track on one of the grooves there. Easy enough to fix. We're getting 32 watts over here. Power factor is 0.770. It's fairly stable right now. I'm happy with this. We'll watch it for a little bit here, but I got to go over to auxiliary. Now, I wish these lamps were a little brighter, but at least they all work now. That one might have been pushed in a little too far, I'm thinking, when I installed it, because the rest of them are kind of bright. But I just can't believe that one capacitor was installed backwards from the factory all this time. How did it work? I don't know. Okay, receiver's doing 27.6 or something like that watts. Probably because I'm off the tuner now. Yeah, it goes up to 32 with the tuner. 34 on FM. Okay, I'm going to fire up the music now, and I'm just going to sit here and watch this for like 10 minutes. I don't know if the first track on this mini disc is copyright friendly, but we'll find out. It's all Vaporwave, but sometimes the Vaporwave still triggers Content ID on YouTube, so not Facebook. What am I thinking? I got 2 hours of sleep last night. Ain't that great? Okay, let's give it some volume. Okay, it seems to be working fine, but like I said, I'm just going to sit here and watch this for a while and see if it continues to work. Well, folks, it's been about a half an hour now and it's still working. I think we're good with this one. I fixed a receiver. Well, it wasn't broken, but I fixed it anyway. I made it new again. Maybe this will give me the confidence to get back into that Onkyo receiver yet, but I gotta tell you, that Onkyo receiver, I have never found the replacements for the bias transistors I need for that one. So I think we're probably going to have to go to plan B on that one and just go ahead and use one of the surround back channels to fix the front left channel on that thing. Or is it the front right? Whichever it is. But I've been looking for a long time now. I haven't found a better source for these bias transistors on that receiver. I did get some from China. I don't know if they're any good, but yeah, I think what we're going to do on that receiver is just move the parts over from one of the surround back channels. We'll fix it that way, and then I'll fix the surround back channel using the Chinese parts. That's the only way I can think to proceed with that one, because the parts for that receiver are unobtainium now, so not much I can do about that. So I've learned a lesson from that receiver, though, and that is don't buy these newer, cheap, disposable receivers. They're not worth fixing. So no more receivers like that one. I will do more receivers like this one, gladly, but for now, I'm just glad this one works. Yeah, this thing's working. So unless the dial lamp indicators come, I don't know if I'm going to be shooting any more segments on this particular receiver or not. I wish the case was in better shape, but it isn't. Anyhow, that's going to be it for today, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.